program for you. I hope you'll get up because there is going to be a lot of conversation about what we should be doing at breakfast, which is food.
I'm Toya Singh. I'm joining you from right here in Delhi, and that's Sonal joining us in Mumbai. We've got an action-packed day ahead. Let's take a look at the stories.
Do you care about what's in your food? Well, you should. Because from chocolate drinks to Indian spices, from protein powders to peanut butter, a nationwide quality check on food is under the scanner. We tell you how to hop on this massive trend of eat right and eat clean.
Hong Kong and Singapore impose a ban on famous Indian spice brands. The FSSAI is under fire for raising limits of pesticides in spices. On TBC, we speak to FSSAI's former CEO, Yudhvir Malik.
Do we really know how to read the labels? Well, this guy certainly does. So we are doing a quick pathshala with the Food Pharmer to tell you 5 things to keep in mind when you're reading labels.
And if there's so much you can't eat, what really can you eat? At TBC, we visited a conscious cuisine cafe, Greener Cafe. It's a plant-forward community restaurant that's now across 4 states in India. They're expanding to more. It offers globally inspired vegan and vegetarian food.
Actually, it is more because of our kids that we have done this. So they are the leaders in this sense, you know. So they are the ones who started using organic ingredients, and they are the ones who started using more grains like millets and, you know, the wheats and everything. More, they shifted towards this, and so we followed them.
Also a person of interest today, and he is likely to bring a smile to your face. Meet this unheard journey of a cop who is a full-time cop and now a part-time teacher.
And in the sporting world, IPL 2024, CSK versus LSG. What were the highlights? LSG defeated CSK by 6 wickets. LSG records the highest successful run chase, a magnificent 100 we got to saw by Marcus Stoinis. In 3 games before this, no team had come to this area, to Chipok this season, and beaten CSK.
All right, let's start the program today with some food, and with a lot of food and some food for thought, as they say. Do you care about what's in your food? Well, let's jog your memory a little bit and talk about certain instances that have happened over the past couple of months that will make you think about what's in your food.
So starting right from household brands, MDH, Everest Masala being banned by Singapore because they contained pesticides. Not very long ago, questions were raised on a multinational, on Nestle, for adding more sugar to infant nutrition formulas in India compared to the rest of the world.
There is also Cadbury's Bournvita, remember, taken off the health drink section again because of high sugar content there. Also remember, cotton candy, Gobi Manchurian ban, we had covered that extensively here on the Breakfast Club as well because of this one culprit called the rhodamine bee.
And of course, there's protein powders, something we've also talked a lot about on TBC. A test saying that they don't offer as much protein as they actually say they will on their labels.
But hang on, why are we giving you so many instances? Where are we going with this story? Today on the Breakfast Club, we've decided to address a issue that is so on top of everybody's mind. A food awareness, a very quiet food awareness revolution is currently going on in the country.
And from packaged to fresh, from multinational companies to local, India, urban India, is beginning to care about what we put inside us in a very, very special way. Pressure's building on authorities as we speak.
So on TBC, we tell you how to navigate this Eat Clean movement. On the program, we'll tell you what's the problem, how to identify the problem, and of course, because we are TBC, we will tell you possible solutions as well. Let's start now by giving you this report that is brought to us by our colleague Himani. Himani breaks down 3 major red flags that are in food every time we eat. It could be in your packets, it could also be in that mango that you pick up from your fruit seller. Take a look.
When it comes to understanding food safety and healthy food options, one must watch out for three major culprits: color, added sugar and pesticides. Let's understand these in details. If you want to read labels, because they come under different names and forms, often very difficult to understand. Let's start with colors. There is a growing evidence linking synthetic food dyes to neurobehavioral issues in children like hyperactivity, restlessness, attention deficit, irritability and aggression. Also, artificial food coloring can trigger allergic reactions such as hives and asthma. The only dyes safe for consumption are yellow 5, red 40, yellow 6 and a few more. Anything else is a harmful chemical you must stay away from. Number 2. Sugar. Sugar is poison, goes a popular saying. But while natural sugars from fruits, milk and vegetables are beneficial for our bodies, added sugars are not. But companies use hidden sugars and artificial sweeteners that go by numerous hidden names. If you see fructose, sucrose, malt syrup, maple syrup, molasses, cane juice crystals, corn sweetener, know that these are cheap artificial sweeteners and substitutes that harm your body. Moving to the biggest red flag when it comes to food, pesticides. We all know pesticides are used to kill insects, weeds, fungi and other pests, and human consumption of these toxic chemicals can have both acute and chronic health effects. For instance, these grapes, they are heavily sprayed with pesticides. You can see the white powdery texture. Strawberries are also sprayed with pesticides. Mango is injected with calcium carbide for ripening, along with glyphosate or betadehyde. Generally, fruits are laced with these harmful chemicals, but occasionally packaged foods have also been found to contain pesticides like ethylene oxide. These chemicals are banned in most countries, including India. The immediate effect of these pesticides is throat pain, and in long term, they are lethal.
All right then. So what do you trust then? You can't trust the packages, you can't trust those grapes really out there. Right. Toya, what is the approach here then?
So in the middle of all of these developments, this is a whole movement, but right in between is FSSAI. They're the Food Safety and Standard Authority of India. They look over all of this. This authority gives clearances and licenses to brands, for example. It's also just supposed to ensure that food across the country is up to a certain safe standard.
FSSAI, you must have seen that base, the tag and that logo which is on almost all food packets that we consume. The same agency and the body is currently under criticism for not doing enough to uphold India's food safety standards. So we thought, let's talk to someone who perhaps understands the workings of FSSAI slightly better. Well, the current CEO, we wanted to speak with him. We haven't got time yet, but we did manage to speak with Yudhvir Singh Malik. YS Malik, he's the former CEO of FSSAI. Good morning, sir. Thanks so much for joining us here on the Breakfast Club. Let me just, go straight in and ask you this question. What's the lag here, sir? Why does it seem like India is only reacting to what foreign countries are taking a call on, even Indian products? Why isn't it that India has woken up to this?
See, I would look at it that labeling regulations do need to be revisited to say, because any processed food has a number of additives with it. Additives in the name of some of the manufacturers even claim, and a lot of social media posts are coming. Somebody says it builds your strength, it builds your stamina, it creates immunity. None of the ingredients are known to be proven to do those things. So those are not really tested and verified claims. And what is important is that those additives or those ingredients which are known to be having an adverse impact on the life of the consumer, that percentage and that particular additive must be specifically mentioned on the label in a bolder font rather than probably a 6-point font a very, very small font which is not even visible unless you use the glasses.
Okay, but sir, we do want to ask, FSSAI seems, at least for us, it seems a little like they're reacting to foreign claims and studies. But sir, does this indicate that maybe in India, data is missing?
In case of developed economies like US, Germany, Switzerland, those economies, you can't think of a compromise at the desk of the laboratory. Are we as equipped? Many of them would claim yes. I'm not being critical of them, but the issue is in such a large country with such a large scale, do we have that competence to really look into it? But the recent controversy which came, I haven't seen that report which came on the baby food and the Cerelac or this, taking Nestle onto it. But what is important is a statement coming from Nestle, what I've read in the media, that over a period of last 4 or 5 years, we have been reducing the content of sugar. Why that situation should arise at all? Why are you reducing? Why did you in any case bring it to that level from where you start thinking of reducing it? What about for 4 or 5 years that you have already sold and you made those babies consume more sugar than what is prescribed in the standards or what is prevalent in that country where this product is being made by that company?
Right.
Right. All right, Mr. Malik, thanks so much for speaking with us here on the Breakfast Club, because remember, we are talking about sugar is one aspect, pesticides are another. The third aspect is that labels don't always show what is inside. Sometimes they falsely show what is inside. So there's a whole question mark, and you and I cannot solve this problem, Toya. This has to be fixed by FSSAI because labels are again getting into focus. People care.
Right, and talking about labels, let's now take our audiences to the person that perhaps first got the idea of looking at labels, that into practice in our consciousness over the last few years. I think it's fair to say he's made a career out of reading the labels that are behind different food packets.
Absolutely, and we asked Food Pharmer, who's also, a lead in one of the campaigns that got the brands under the scanner in the first place, to give us some tips. He, of course, has made a career, but what should you and I do? How should we read our packets when we go to our grocery store the next time? This is what he said.
So I'll share 5 quick tips on how to read labels. First, the biggest problem is most people only look at the front package when they read a label. And even when they turn it around, they only look at 2 things, the MRP and the expiry date. And there's a funny line in relation to expiry dates, which is the longer the expiry date, the sooner our expiry date. The longer the shelf life, the shorter our life, because there is more preservatives in the food. So most people get happy when they see a long expiry date, but actually no, that's not a great sign. You should rather prefer products which have a short expiry date, and that's usually fresh food. Of course, there are some exceptions to this, like honey. So instead of just focusing on MRP and expiry dates, focus on the nutrition label and the ingredient list, especially the ingredient list. I'll give you a quick tip about the ingredient list. Ingredient lists are listed in order of weight. So the first ingredient you see is the ingredient which is highest by volume, followed by the second ingredient, followed by the third. So for example, if you see a biscuit brand and you see maida as the first ingredient, which means it has the highest quantity of maida by weight. Second, most biscuits have maida, sugar and palm oil as the first 3 ingredients. And I always tell people, try to avoid those products which have either sugar or maida in the first 3 to 5 ingredients. Don't have it way too often, like have it once a month, twice a month, but don't have it every day. So the most important tip is ingredient lists are listed in order of weight. So we'll specifically talk about how to buy a juice. So if you're buying a packet juice, usually I don't recommend people having packet juices, but if you are buying a packet juice, one thing always make sure it does not have any added sugar. So if you look at the nutrition label, it will have a total sugar column and an added sugar column. it should not have any added sugar. Added sugar is basically white sugar. So a juice, like an orange juice, it should be sweet from the fruit itself. It does not need any added sugar. And the way you calculate added sugar is every 4.2 grams of sugar is 1 teaspoon. So if you see about 12 grams of sugar, it means it has 3 teaspoons of sugar. So the quick math you can do is whatever the number is, divided by 4.2 and you will get the number of teaspoons. Now next let's focus on peanut butters. So when you buy a peanut butter, you should only buy a peanut butter with one ingredient, peanuts. That's it. Most of the market peanut butters, they have sugar, vegetable fat, salt. That is not required in a peanut butter. A peanut butter should have only one ingredient, peanuts, and that's it. The best packaged food, usually I ask people not to have packaged food, but if you are choosing to have a packaged food, the best packaged foods usually have only one ingredient. So whether it's oats, and if you're buying oats, so oats should have only one ingredient, oats. If you're buying peanut butter, it should have only one ingredient, peanuts. Similarly, if you're buying a juice, it should have one ingredient, orange, or whichever juice you're buying. It does not need 4, 5, 7 ingredients. Alright, the last thing I want to help you is how to buy a protein bar. The mistake most people make is they buy energy bars, not protein bars. Today, almost everything markets itself as high protein. But if something is truly high protein, turn around the pack, look at the nutrition label and check the protein content. It should have at least as a minimum of 10 grams of protein and not more than 300 calories. So the problem is many people buy energy bars which have only 4-5 grams of protein, and these companies market themselves as high protein. And since energy bars are usually cheaper than protein bars, many people buy energy bars. Don't buy energy bars, buy protein bars. The same brands often make both protein bars and energy bars. All you need to do is turn around the pack and check if it has at least 10 grams of protein or not, and buy only those ones.
Okay, so that's Food Farmer. You can follow him on Instagram too. He gives all of these tips. And we promise you, yes, it'll make your shopping in the grocery store, in the kirana store a little bit slower, but all of these changes are worth it. So these are the things you have to stay away from.
Yeah, and before all of you start thinking that we are constantly telling you what not to eat, what to do, the idea is not to make you lose your appetite early in the morning. The idea is to build it the right way. So let's talk about some solutions now.
Okay, so the good news is we are all waking up to this growing demand right now in urban India to eat clean and eat fresh. And there are already brands that are waking up to that, and they want to bring out the whole truth that exists inside food.
Talking about the whole truth, let's welcome Shashank Mehta, the founder of the Whole Truth Foods here with us on the Breakfast Club. Good morning, Shashank. Thanks so much for speaking with us. Now, let me just tell our viewers a little bit. Shashank has a company that does only 2 or 3 ingredient products. And Shashank, kudos to you for having achieved this, for having products that do not hide little labels and ingredients at the back of the product. You wear it right on your pack with a lot of confidence, and you say if it's a chocolate bar, it's only cocoa and dates, nothing else. So tell us, how easy or difficult has it been to bring out products like these in the market with shorter shelf life, with purer ingredients?
Well, thank you so much for the kind words. I guess we are talking because there are more and more consumers like you who see and appreciate what brands like us are trying to do. And B, because of the great work being done by a huge ecosystem of influencers like Food Pharmer and brands like clean label brands like the Whole Truth. I think there's a growing set of discerning consumers who are willing to literally put their money where their mouth is and say that, I'm going to spend a lot more on eating clean and think a lot more about what goes inside my body. Even if, I have to skip in certain other places, like, that millennials, Gen Zs, they don't want to buy a big new car. They want to spend their hard-earned money on eating right, on going to the gym, on looking good. So I think thankfully there's a large and growing segment of discerning consumers and especially within that also the younger lot, the Gen Z, even the kids that we meet, they're very, very conscious of going into what's inside their food. And thirdly, I think there are these occasions now, like when you're at the airport, when you're at office and you want to have lunch, or if you want a dessert replacement, you have a sweet food but you don't want to have sugar. People are a lot more mindful of what they eat in these occasions. And unfortunately, you can't do away with packaged food on these occasions. It's the truth of modern life. We find that consumers are willing to shell out that extra buck for something that they trust to be right, and that's a very, very rare commodity in food nowadays. And that people trust.
So you did talk a little bit about this very important thing, which is the paisa behind it all, the money. And I do want to ask you, do you generally see a trend? Because this is an idea that Indians care about the price. That's the first thing. But do you see Indians turning from value seekers now to clean food seekers?
I would say that we are still Indians that, everyone knows we are value seekers. We've now started seeing the value in eating right. There's a very high long-term value in eating right, and I think we've started valuing that with money.
Right. So Shashank, tell us this a little bit. So you are trying to scale up, and the real challenge when it comes to products like yours, brand like yours, is the scale, right? A, not everybody will be able to afford it. Second, if you want it to be on shelves all over the country, you need a bigger, much bigger ecosystem. So if you had to learn one thing from the big food companies, and let me twist it also a little bit, and if they had to learn one thing from you, what would that be?
I think the thing to learn is distribution and just how efficient they are at their supply chain. I think like some of the best minds of the country work at these organizations, and over decades they've built insane distribution. Getting food items into 10, 20, 30 lakh stores is not easy. I wish we can become a sliver of that as a young firm. And what I wish they would learn from us is, I think they've lost soul. They have become nameless, faceless entities.
Wow.
I know a lot of people there who will not feed what they are selling to their own kids. And I wish they get their soul back and they learn to, deliver with purpose, because I think we are entering a world of capitalism where doing well is not good enough. You have to do well by doing good in society. Otherwise, you won't have a planet left and people left to run a capitalist country. And I wish that we learn that soul from new countries.
Shashank, thank you for taking the time out to join us here on TBC. We're a big fan of your proteins, your chocolates, your protein powders. I just want to tell our audiences there are actually just 2 ingredients. They do seem very, very clean. Thank you for joining us.
All right then, so hopefully by now you've understood the problem, you've understood how to identify the problem, you've also taken a glimpse into what brands are there really that can offer you that solution. And you're feeling a little more equipped with yourself. But the question then is going to be, Toya, ghar par to kar lenge, but we love going out. What do we do when we go out? How do we eat clean?
So we thought we'd take a look at spots that are marketing themselves as the answer to that exact question. One of these spots is Greener. It calls itself the first plant-based nationwide restaurant. It exists in 4 states. It's expanding as we speak to other states. And they say that they're part of a growing segment where clean eating is right at the core. Take a look.
You want healthy food made with clean ingredients, but you don't want to sacrifice on taste. That's where a growing segment of restaurants dotting Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, that's where they come in. Greener started its first outpost almost a decade ago and has since grown into a multi-city clean food franchise. We sat down with one of the co-founders, Vaibhav, and asked him what the beginning was like.
Clean eating was something which was principally not known as a term also. So we knew that we are up for a very long battle because people were still figuring out healthy itself was a word that people were figuring out, and healthy not being tasty was another taboo which worked in their mind. So we knew that we're in this for the long haul, so we thought that we'll constantly communicate this through our conversations with our audience. You know, if your food is just free of preservatives, artificial flavors, artificial colors, you will really feel good and you will really like your food, which is something we stuck out with.
But what's the process actually like in the kitchen? We spoke to Chef Shivam about the process followed at each space.
First we take out the ingredient, okay, we read the description. 2 or 3 preservative and additives are okay because you have to increase the shelf life of the food as well. For example, if we are getting one ingredient, we're gonna take 4 to 5 vendors from that. Then we're gonna check what's the price, what's the availability, and how the tastes are varying from each other. How many preservative have they been added, and how they are curing the food or procuring it, like, or increasing their shelf.
This ingredient-focused approach has fueled the restaurant and the entire sector's growth. But one continuing criticism of the sector is its lack of accessibility.
In a way, the locations that we've typically been in are, in a different sort of market, and accessibility is something that we were very conscious of because we don't want it to be restricted to a very certain class of the society. We want it to be a way of life for a larger audience. In terms of ingredients, you know, technically most of our ingredients are indigenous ingredients. Like even if we have a dish which has black bean which is related to Mexico, we are growing black beans in Madhya Pradesh. And jackfruit, I mean, if it's presented well, it has a very international appeal, but it's something we've grown up eating in different parts of India.
Perhaps the loveliest thing we came across was all the customers, young and old. But what had pushed them towards healthier, cleaner ingredients?
Actually, it is more because of our kids that we have done this. So they are the leaders in this sense, you know. So they are the ones who started using organic ingredients, and they are the ones who started using more grains like millets and, you know, the wheats and everything. More, they shifted towards this, and so we followed them. It was like this.
The restaurant's story is not just the story of an entire sector's growth, it represents perhaps a homecoming of sorts for urban Indians. Back to the clean eating, ingredient focused roots that have long formed our culinary foundation.
All right then. So perhaps the crux of the matter here is that there are healthy alternatives available at home and outside. The question is of self-awareness, and also the question is on us to put the pressure on the government to ensure that there are cleaner and stricter guidelines to be followed.
Right, and it's so important. Okay, we're going to go into a short break, but right after the break, the unheard journey of a head police constable, a pathshala that he's created for a better future. Meet Than Singh. He's truly the teacher of the year. Do stay with us.
Well, it's time for the big Trivandrum battle. I'm joined here at the Trivandrum Central with none other than the BJP candidate, Union MOS Rajiv Chandrasekhar. Rajiv, final stretch, absolutely last day of campaigning going on.
Last but one.
Last but one. Tell me, what are the thoughts in your mind? Because there's a big prestige battle in this prestige constituency.
Well, I'm not so sure the prestige battle, but it is a battle nevertheless. It's a three-way fight between the CPI and the Congress and the BJP NDA. And it's a battle not so much about people as much as it's about the future of Trivandrum. And I have made it very clear from the 4th of March when I first came here, after my candidature was announced, that Trivandrum over the last 15 to 20 years has had very little to show in terms of progress and development. And I intend to change that, and that is my candidature. So I am extremely happy today that the people of Trivandrum are responding to the message of change. They certainly want more and more development and prosperity and jobs and skills and investment. And they want to certainly shrug away the last 20-25 years of rhetoric, unfulfilled promises, and really get somebody who can deliver.
You know, Shashi Tharoor's kind of building a campaign that you don't know what work has happened in the last 15 years in Trivandrum because you haven't been here.
Yeah, that's fine. I think Tharoor is entitled to his opinion and his wisdom and his make-believe world that he is simply a genius or whatever it is that he wants to. It's the people of Trivandrum that will decide. Has the MP done what he is supposed to have done or not? I don't have to say anything. You don't have to say anything. It is the people of a constituency at the time of every election that will decide whether an MP has lived up to the trust that the people have placed in him.
Yeah.
And I will suggest to you today, and it will be vindicated on the day of the election, that he certainly.
All right then, welcome back. It's time to look at stories from India and across the world.
Let's take a look. So, Meta platform is making a bold move in the virtual reality world. It's opening up its Quest operating systems to rival device makers. What does that actually mean? It means that brands like Microsoft, Lenovo, other brands can now use Meta's Horizon operating system. It's the operating system to create their own headsets.
EV owners could soon cash in on their cars as the grid power sources. Companies like General Motors and Volvo, alongside utilities and charging app operators, are gearing up to tap into the potential revenue stream. With bidirectional charging technology, EV owners can charge up to low rates and sell excess power back to the grid during peak hours.
In southern Vietnam's Mekong Delta, rice farmers are revolutionizing their methods to combat climate change. They're adopting innovative techniques like alternate wetting and drying, using drones for fertilization. They're reducing methane emissions and water usage. Now, this shift not only benefits the environment, it also improves efficiency and it reduces labor costs.
Australian universities now face crisis as visa rejections soar to record highs, prompting drastic measures to curb applications from countries like India and Nepal. Some institutions, including prestigious ones, are banning or restricting applications due to government's crackdown on migration.
And with syphilis cases among newborns rising sharply, doctors are now recommending increased screening for pregnant women. The American College of Gynecologists is suggesting testing 3 times during pregnancy to curb the spread of the sexually transmitted infection.
ISRO's latest findings reveal a concerning trend: significant expansion of glacial lakes in the Indian Himalayas over the past 4 decades. Satellite pictures show a notable increase in the size of these lakes, raising alarm bells for downstream communities.
And a unit of the Defence Research and Development Organization, the DRDO, located in Kanpur, has successfully developed the lightest bulletproof jacket in India. The jacket offers protection against the highest threat level. Now, the jacket's design incorporates very, very novel materials. We're showing you those visuals. It results in all of its very lightweight construction.
Well, it's time for the big Trivandrum battle. I'm joined here at the Trivandrum Central with none other than the BJP candidate, Union MOS. Rapidly, last day of campaigning going on.
Last but one.
Last but one. Tell me, what are the thoughts in your mind? Because this is a big prestige battle in this prestige constituency.
Well, I'm not so sure the prestige battle, but it is a battle nevertheless. It's a 3-way fight between the CPI and the Congress and the BJP NDA. And it's a battle not so much about people as much as it's about the future of Trivandrum. And I have made it very clear from the 4th of March when I first came here, after my candidature was announced, that Trivandrum over the last 15 to 20 years has had very little to show in terms of progress and development. And I intend to change that, and that is my candidature. So I am extremely happy today that the people of Trivandrum are responding to the message of change. They certainly want more and more development and prosperity and jobs and skills and investment. And they want to certainly shrug away the last 20-25 years of rhetoric, unfulfilled promises, and really get somebody who can deliver.
You know, Shashi Tharoor's kind of building a campaign that you don't know what work has happened in the last 15 years in Trivandrum because you haven't been here.
Yeah, that's fine. I think Tharoor is entitled to his opinion and his wisdom and his make-believe world that he is simply a genius or whatever it is that he wants to. It's the people of Trivandrum that will decide. Has the MP done what he is supposed to have done or not? I don't have to say anything. You don't have to say anything. It is the people of a constituency at the time of every election that will decide whether an MP has lived up to the trust that the people have placed in him.
Yeah.
And I will suggest to you today, and it will be vindicated on the day of the election, that he certainly has been given 3 opportunities by the people of Trivandrum. Not 1, not 2, 3 opportunities. And today Trivandrum remains highest unemployment. 37% of the college seats are vacant. There is no investment worth the name coming here. There are no jobs being created.
Welcome back. So next on the Breakfast Club, let's take you to Red Fort in Delhi. In the heart of Red Fort's historic grounds, amidst the echoes of centuries-old tales, emerges a story of hope. It's called Than Singh Ki Pathshala. But who exactly is Than Singh?
So, Than Singh is a head police constable by profession and a teacher by passion. He's providing free education to underprivileged children. It's something he's been doing for almost a decade now. He set up this pathshala where he and a number of other volunteers began teaching slum children. The key here is that it's all for free.
With the goals of putting books in the hands of slum children rather than plastic bags and racks, his efforts promote good behavior in underprivileged children in order for them to live a better life and avoid community crime. So it's a win-win for a cop here. Sakshi travelled to that pathshala. Here's what she saw.
Do you know what makes our world so wonderful? It's education and culture. Let's talk about education. Education is a superpower. It helps us learn new things.
आपको क्या बनना है नीलू?
IPS.
IPS बनना है ना बेटा?
हाँ.
कोई बनोगे आप? मुझे आप पे भरोसा है.
Filled with complaints about the condition of the society, there are only a few who actually rise above the noise and think about tangible steps to be taken for the betterment of our country. Today we will be bringing you a story of one such man who embodies the spirit of action and in fact the initiative in order to bring about the greater good to the society.
मेरा जो जीवन है ना वो ऐसा रहा है, खुद कठिनाइयों में रह के आया हूँ. हर चीज़ का पता है मुझे. 6 साल की उम्र से ही अपने माँ बाप के संग काम पे लग गया था मैं. और जब से उस दिन का दिन और आज का दिन मैंने कभी सोचा ही नहीं कि मुझे कुछ करना है, आराम करना है. मुझे लग रहा है कि मुझे कुछ करना है. तो वही मेरे को मौका मिला दिल्ली पुलिस में आके, एक वर्दी की, एक नौकरी और फिर एक इन लोगों की सेवा. तो इससे बड़ी और क्या सेवा हो सकती है मैम? अगर आप दिल से कोई काम करने की सोचोगे ना तो सब लोग आपके साथ देंगे. ऊपर वाला तो साथ है ही है. ये ऊपर वाले ने हमें भेजा है इंसान के रूप में, तो वो भी हमारे साथ है.
मैं तो इतना सोचता हूँ कि अगर मैं नहीं पढ़ पाया, मेरा परिवार में कोई पढ़ा लिखा नहीं. मेरा बड़ा लड़का भी नहीं पढ़ा पाया मैंने, तो मैम मैं सोच रहा हूँ कि चलो अगर एक पढ़ जाए, मैं उससे कोई काम की नहीं बोलता हूँ कि बेटा तू एक काम कर, खाली बेटा पढ़ाई पर ध्यान दे।
सुविधा के लिए मैम यहाँ पर मैंने पानी की व्यवस्था करी। जो बड़ी बड़ी बच्चियाँ हो गई थी, तो मैं नहीं चाहता था ये बच्चियाँ बाहर कहीं सोच में ऊपर में सोच जाए, तो उनके लिए हमने एक टॉयलेट बनवाया, टॉयलेट की व्यवस्था करवाई हमारे सीनियर ऑफिसर ने, ताकि ये बच्चियाँ बाहर ना जाके एक टॉयलेट में जाएं। समाज का हमारा खाली शिक्षा के ऊपर नहीं है, समाज की हर चीज़ें, बैड टच, गुड टच, खेल कूद, यानी कि हम हर चीज़ में इनको इन्वॉल्व करना चाहते हैं। कोशिश मेरी यही है कि इन बच्चों के लिए व्यवस्था हो सके, और ये मेरे बस की नहीं है मैम, करने वाला ऊपर वाला। और देखिए गर्मी से बचने के लिए इन बच्चों के लिए ये कूलर दे दिए, अब ये एक कमरा बनवा दिया है ये, तो यानी कि हर समाज का हर इंसान इसके लिए यहाँ पर उपस्थित है कि मैं कुछ ना कुछ देना चाहता हूँ। जर्मनी से लोग आए थे, तो उन्होंने इन बच्चों के लिए टीवी दिया है, और ये लैपटॉप दिए, कंप्यूटर दिए हैं, तो यानी कि मैम हर चीज़, हर व्यवस्था इन बच्चों के लिए मिल रही है। तो मेरा तो यही प्रयास है, इन बच्चों को एक अच्छी शिक्षा मिल सके। इन बच्चों को खाने की व्यवस्था थी। गुरुद्वारा शीशगंज साहब से जब बात हुई, तो गुरुद्वारा शीशगंज साहब के जो लोगों ने कहा कि जब हम इतने लोगों को लंगर खिलाते हैं और आप एक शिक्षा का काम कर रहे हैं, तो क्यों ना इन 100 बच्चों को लंगर हम व्यवस्था करेंगे।
यहाँ पे कौन से क्लास तक बच्चों को शिक्षा मिलती है, और उसके बाद फिर अगर ऐसे कुछ बच्चे हों जो उसके बाद भी अपनी पढ़ाई कंटिन्यू कर रहे हैं, और कैसे कर रहे हैं?
मैम जब मैंने शुरुआत करी थी, तो ये बेसिक से शुरुआत करी थी। फिर इनके एडमिशन हमारे जो DCP साहब है नॉर्थ डिस्ट्रिक्ट के, उन्होंने वहाँ पर एक लेटर लिख के एजुकेशन डायरेक्टर को इन बच्चों के एडमिशन कराए। 3 साल पहले हमने इनका 3 साल पहले इनका एडमिशन कराया स्कूलों में। तो जब पहली बार एडमिशन कराया, तो 9 बच्चे जिन्होंने स्कूल में टॉप किया, इस बार मेरी पाठशाला के अंदर 17 बच्चे जो कि फर्स्ट, सेकंड, थर्ड आए। तो मैम बस एक छोटे सहारे की ज़रूरत थी इन बच्चों को, और इन बच्चों ने अपनी जी जान से मेहनत करी है। एक बच्ची ने तो इतना कहा कि सर मेरे पिताजी एक्सपायर हो चुके थे, अब दूसरा पिता का रूप मैंने आपके अंदर देख लिया, अगर आप चले गए ना तो मैं मर जाऊँ।
जो इनके अंदर जज्बा है टू लर्न न्यू थिंग्स, दैट इज़ व्हाट इंस्पायर्ड मी टू टीच देम मोर एंड मोर।
So when I came to know about them, I was like, oh wow, that's a good thing. I can go there and teach them. And I started coming here. And now I am so attached to them. Like they're like family to me. I went back home for some days and I was missing them so much.
तमिलनाडु की राजधानी चेन्नई, केरल की
तिरुवनंतपुरम,
अरुणाचल की
ईटानगर,
और गुजरात की
गांधीनगर,
और अमेरिका की
वॉशिंगटन डीसी, डिस्ट्रिक्ट ऑफ कोलंबिया।
वेरी गुड। और जर्मनी की
बर्लिन,
चीन की
बीजिंग।
ओह वेरी गुड। और हमारे देश के प्रधानमंत्री जी कौन है?
श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी।
और पहले प्रधानमंत्री जी कौन थे?
पंडित जवाहरलाल नेहरू।
So let's take inspiration from Than Singh Ji's journey and try to ask ourselves, what can I do better in order to make a difference? Because together we can turn complaints into opportunities to bring about a positive change for every sector of this country for a better future.
All right then. So that's quite a very, very cute story. Magic happens in the gullies of Purani Delhi, as they say, and we need so many more Than Singhs in our country.
Yeah, I mean, of course we do. And this was quite an inspiring story. The next story is a different one, but it's inspiring also for very, very different reasons. This is the story of a medical marvel. You might already know lung cancer is considered by experts to be the leading cause of cancer incidence worldwide. We're taking you to the story of doctors in the US who, as we speak, are hoping that a new robot that's quite ingenious looking if you look at it, that could lead to more accurate lung cancer diagnosis across the world. Take a look.
Doctors hope this robot can help produce safer and more accurate lung cancer diagnoses. With 125,000 people in the US dying each year of lung cancer, according to the National Cancer Institute, doctors agree that early detection can save lives. But when a patient's screening detects troubling signs such as nodules, a biopsy may be needed.
The robot is thin, so it can actually get to a lot more branches than we currently can with our current bronchoscopes. I see this as as the future. A part of my job as a pulmonologist is to help patients when they have abnormal CT scans.
Dr. Alexander Zeider is at Sutter Health's Mills Peninsula Medical Center in Burlingame, California. He has used the new ion bronchoscopy robot on 3 patients so far.
Some nodules are too small to biopsy, but other nodules we have to biopsy to determine if there's cancer or not. This tool allows us to go after almost any nodule in the lung to try to provide patients with diagnostic certainty.
The robot allows doctors to navigate the lungs with a virtual map produced from a CT scan. During the procedure, it provides a real-time view of the lungs as the catheter enters the breathing tubes. It also helps doctors determine how far the needle used in a biopsy can be safely inserted without causing a lung collapse, Zeider said.
And so this allows us to, 1, get to the nodules that radiology could not otherwise get to, 2, biopsy nodules from the inside, which has a much lower risk of lung collapse that radiology may have not wanted to do in the first place. Or 3, for really suspicious nodules, allow us to do both diagnosis and staging at the same time.
He hopes the ability of the robot to find, biopsy, and even mark tough-to-reach nodules will help reduce anxiety in patients. Zeider is now looking to the future and how lung cancer treatment could be improved.
We can put markers in to help the surgeon cut out less of the lung than we would traditionally. There may or may not in the future be ways that we can treat lung cancer from the inside without having to send patients to radiation or surgery.
That is so cool, and it's similar to another tentacled robot that came out last year in the University of Leeds. So a lot of very important innovation that we're keeping an eye here on at TBC.
Right, and I love the size of it, how it's able to penetrate inside those really tiny veins over there. All of that is what you can catch us on our website as well, cnnnews18.com. But for now, a quick break. Coming up on the other side, all the IPL action.
Well, it's time for the big Trivandrum battle. I'm joined here at the Trivandrum Central with none other than the BJP candidate, Union MOS Rajiv Chandrasekhar. Rajiv, final stretch, absolutely last day of campaigning going on.
Last but one.
Last but one. Tell me, what are the thoughts in your mind? Because this is a big prestige battle in this prestige constituency.
Well, I'm not so sure the prestige battle, but CPI and the Congress and the BJP NDA. And it's a battle not so much about people as much as it's about the future of Trivandrum. And I have made it very clear from the 4th of March when I first came here, after my candidature was announced, that Trivandrum over the last 15 to 20 years has had very little to show in terms of progress and development. And I intend to change that, and that is my candidature. So I am extremely happy today that the people of Trivandrum are responding to the message of change. They certainly want more and more development and prosperity and jobs and skills and investment. And they want to certainly shrug away the last 20-25 years of rhetoric, unfulfilled promises, and really get somebody who can deliver.
You know, Shashi Tharoor's kind of building a campaign that you don't know what work has happened in the last 15 years in Trivandrum because you haven't been here.
Yeah, that's fine. I think Tharoor is entitled to his opinion and his wisdom and his make-believe world that he is simply a genius or whatever it is that he wants to. It's the people of Trivandrum that will decide. Has the MP done what he is supposed to have done or not? I don't have to say anything. You don't have to say anything.
Welcome back to the Breakfast Club. Now, as we speak, we're in the midst of an exciting IPL season, And let's shift focus very quickly to everything that's been happening over the last few days. Number one, the match that just took place. Lucknow Super Giants had a historic win over Chennai Super Kings by 6 wickets. All of this took place at the Chepauk Stadium.
The Lucknow Super Giants recorded the highest successful run chase, and just 3 games before this, no team had come through this season and had beaten CSK as well. Jamie Alter, as always, with the highlights.
What a win for Lucknow Super Giants. That means they have beaten CSK both times so far in the IPL. Not long ago, they beat them in Lucknow, and now, last night, a ripper of a match at the M.A. Chidambaram Stadium in Chennai. The target was over 211, thanks to a brilliant knock from CSK skipper Rituraj Gaikwad and another fantastic clutch innings from Shivam Dube, who's now striking at about 170 this IPL and has hit 22 sixes. But on the day, after de Kock got out for a duck, after KL Rahul failed early, it was the decision to send the big Australian all-rounder Marcus Stoinis up the order to number 3 that ultimately made the biggest difference for LSG, because Stoinis got 120 not out, arguably one of the best chases we've seen in a high-scoring match over the past few IPL seasons. From ball 1 till his last ball face, Stoinis just muscled the ball everywhere, be it pace, be it spin. He was all over Chennai Super Kings bowlers. And given the way that the CSK team has made their home ground at Chepauk a fortress over the years, unbeaten this season until last night, it says something about the brilliance of Marcus Stoinis. He's a player who, despite a lot of achievements in an Australian jersey, has never really quite set the IPL on fire. A few clutch innings now and there, but overall, I think the public perception has been looking at Marcus Stoinis that he just seems a bit of a spent force in the IPL. But all such notions and thoughts and theories were put to rest last night after Marcus Stoinis' brilliant unbeaten 120 from the number 1 position. And now, like I've been saying, if you've been following my videos here on the Breakfast Club, LSG are one of those teams that need to send their power hitters up the order. They did send up Marcus Stoinis number 3, and they also promoted Nicholas Puran 1 spot up, and look at the clutch performance that he also gave. That, along with some finishing touches from Deepak Hooda, is what took LSG over the line in a big chase, a very, very big chase against defending IPL champion CSK at their home ground. Now there's one batsman I want to talk about, and he's not Australian, and his name is not Marcus Stoinis. It is Shivam Dube. Another impactful 50 from Shivam Dube. 7 sixes, like I said, taking his overall tally this IPL to 22. He's striking at about 170 this IPL, and on the back of his performances for CSK last year as they won the title, I think the time has come to lay to rest all this debate about whether or not Shivam Dube should go to India's T20 World Cup squad. He is arguably the strongest Indian number 4 going around this IPL. We know Hardik Pandya has not been at his best. We know that Suryakumar Yadav will bat at number 4 for India at the World Cup. But right now, the exploits of Shivam Dube, who muscles the ball harder and longer than anyone going around in an Indian jersey these days, I say it's time to send Shivam Dube to the World Cup. It'll be a tough call for the selectors, because then who do you drop? Do you drop a batsman? Do you drop an all-rounder? Do you leave out Hardik Pandya? Unlikely, but right now the irresistible force that is Shivam Dube tells me, and I'm sure a lot of our cricket fans watching this show will agree with me, Shivam Dube right now cannot be ignored. The strike rate, the ability to hit spinners, his development against pace, all of that is on display this IPL, and I think the deadline is looming large for that T20 World Cup squad to be announced in the first week of May. Just take the risk, do whatever you have to be selectors, and find a way to get Shivam Dube into your T20 World Cup squad.
Well, it's time for the big Trivandrum battle. I'm joined here at the Trivandrum Central with none other than the BJP candidate, Union MOS Rajiv Chandrasekhar. Rajiv, final stretch, absolutely last day of campaigning going on.
Last but one.
Last but one. Tell me what are the thoughts in your mind, because there's a big prestige battle in this prestige constituency.
Well, I'm not so sure of the prestige battle, but it is a battle nevertheless. It's a three-way fight between the CPI and the Congress and the BJP NDA. And it's a battle not so much about people as much as it's about the future of Trivandrum. And I have made it very clear from the 4th of March when I first came here, after my candidature was announced, that Trivandrum over the last 15 to 20 years has had very little to show in terms of progress and development. And I intend to change that. And that is my...
Welcome back to TVC. Next, we bring you a special section on financial markets powered by Money Control Pro, Money Control's premium destination for investing and business insights. Let's take a look at markets first. GIFT Nifty indicates a stable opening for Indian stock markets. US markets closed higher on positive earnings for some large companies. Asian markets follow US markets higher. Crude oil prices hold firm as traders weigh the demand and supply conditions.
Let's look at sectors now. Companies selling crop protection products are still reeling due to adverse reasons such as subdued domestic demand and excess inventory in international markets. However, demand may improve in domestic markets in the first half of FY25 with the upcoming monsoon season. So will excess inventory in global markets remain an overhang for some more time? How should you, the investor, position themselves in your sector? Well, log on to Money Control Pro to find out more about agrochemical sector and other actionable insights. It is the premium destination for all investing views and financial insights you will ever need, brought to you by Money Control.
And that brings us to the end of the show. Our big message to you today: do read your labels. Take out that extra few seconds, read your labels and make smarter, healthier choices.
So today we spoke about food and labels, and tomorrow on the program we'll be talking about all things beauty. So tune in at 8 o'clock tomorrow. We'll catch you then. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Well, it's time for the big Trivandrum battle. I'm joined here at the Trivandrum Central with none other than the BJP candidate, Yudhvir